is Lindsay. I am the Deputy Director of Housing Counseling over at RCAP Solutions. RCAP's a local nonprofit. We have independent living programs available throughout central Massachusetts. So we are the home of the Regional Housing Consumer Education Center for Worcester County and a couple of surrounding towns that are not Worcester County. We serve tenants, landlords, homeowners, and home buyers. We're a one-stop shop for housing information, support, referrals to additional community resources that we may not offer in-house. So this is our service area. You'll notice that a couple of the towns out this way and over here and kind of down below are outside of Worcester County, but they are still our area. So some of our programs include the Home Modification Loan Fund Program. That one's always a tongue twister, which Asher will talk to you guys about in just a few minutes. We also do homeownership support and foreclosure prevention, including first-time homebuyers classes, pre-purchase counseling, foreclosure prevention. We do credit counseling, budget counseling, referrals to outside programs. We also administer the RAFT program, which is for renters that are experiencing an eligible housing crisis. And then we also have a few affordable housing properties throughout the region.
RCAP Solutions is the home of the Worcester County Housing and Consumer Education Center. We offer a wide variety of services to assist seniors, the disabled, and their families. Our Home Modification Loan Program is a state-funded service which provides financing to pay for essential improvements to help elderly or disabled family members to live safely and comfortably in their own homes. Modifications can include ramps, stair lifts, walk-in bathtubs, accessible kitchens, property fencing, and more. RCAP Solutions also provides rental assistance services, financial support for housing, and manages 11 affordable apartment complexes throughout central Massachusetts. For more information, please call us at 800-488-1969 or visit our website at www.rcapsolutions.org.
All right, Asher, if you want to come up and talk about the Home Modification Loan Program.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Popular.
Turn this off.
Let's do the receipt as well.
All right, I powered it off. All right. Well, thank you, Shrewsbury Senior Center, for having us. And again, my name is Asher. I'm the Home Modification Loan Manager with RCAP Solutions, and I'll give you some information on the program, okay? So, as the slide indicates, the Home Modification Loan Program, it is a state loan program that could help you or your loved one live more independently at home. So, the program, again, it's a state-funded lending program. So it provides loans to homeowners and small landlords meaning 10 units or less. And it helps fund the necessary changes to keep individuals with disabilities or elderly family members in their own homes. So RCAP Solutions works in collaboration with MRC, Mass Rehab Center, and CDAC. So I just wanted to point that out. And also the projects that can be done for the program, they're, for example, ramps, stair lifts. If you have a ramp in need, for example, if someone has a disability and they're in a wheelchair and they need to access their home, we can fund the project for a ramp. For example, also to widen the doors. If you are in a wheelchair, you might need the doors widened in your home so you can have easy movement. So stair lifts, for example, if you have mobility issues and you need to be going up to your second floor, to your bedroom, or downstairs, a stair lift will be a good thing to have because it can help you go up and down safely and conveniently, and you can access your home. So another thing is the bathroom, therapy spaces, fences. We talk a lot about elderly with disabilities, but children also are projects for them with, say, for example, if you need a fence, if you have a child with autism, They might need to have a fence installed in their yard to help them, stay within the property lines, not go bolt into the street and so on. So the projects vary based on the medical needs. So the program is designed to help, again, based on the medical needs, the project has to make sense accordingly. So the loan information, for loan ranges, you can have a loan project cost from $1,000 up to $50,000 per property. So for example, if you have your own home, it's up to $50,000. However, we do offer loans for manufactured homes. That's up to $30,000. So it depends on what type of property. Landlords with fewer than 10 units are eligible for 3% loans. However, if it's a family member that is living in the property, you might be eligible again for the 0% interest loan. So the way the program is designed is that, again, it's a 0% interest loan, no monthly payments. Yes, that is correct, no monthly payments. And you can live in the property right now up to, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 years and never make a payment. You can make payments if you want. If you hit the lottery, you want to pay it off, you go right ahead. So if you do sell the house one day, it can be 10 years, 15 years, or you can pay that back the loan. But in the meantime, you are not obligated to make any monthly payments. Yes?
Is there a deed rider put on there?
Yes.
Is it lien?
Yes.
Okay.
So what happens is it is a loan, a home. So the loan is recorded with the Registry of Deeds. And again, however, we do not pull credit. We don't go by credit scores. It's not reported to the credit reporting agencies because there's no monthly payments. So we heavily go towards on the medical needs. And so the homeowners, depending on the what's needed, what they want to do, they hire the contractors. So we have a list of contractors that is helpful if you need them, but you're not obligated to use anyone on the list. However, the list of contractors that we have, they've worked with RCAP, they know the program, the routine and all that. But again, the homeowners hire the contractors. The contractors must be licensed and insured in the state of Massachusetts. So we verify the licensing and you have to have proof of insurance. So with that said, that's basically the loan information. And again, each situation is unique. So yes, another question?
Yeah, so for a person who's a landlord and has a tenant, if the tenant would like a modification, why wouldn't the tenant take out the loan? Because under tenant-landlord law, a disabled person can make reasonable modifications that does not impact the apartment or the landlord's cost.
Yeah.
So why would the landlord want to take out a loan for 3% interest?
Well, the property owner has to do the application, apply, because again, it's recorded with the Registry of Deeds, and the homeowner or the property owner has to be the one that's going to be recorded. But the tenant, I mean, if there's a need there, the tenant and the property owner, that's great if they can, discuss things, and then it'll be a great idea for the homeowner to do the modification because it makes for future rentals very accommodating for future needs for for a person at that time. If it's empty, it's available, then you have a unit that's more accessible to a lot more opportunity for tenants. So, okay, does that answer your question? All right. Oh, I missed the. I missed the mouse. Oh, okay. So, the home modification program does have income guidelines. However, they are very generous. As you can see, for the income guidelines, a family of two, you can make up to $224,400 and still qualify income-wise. So the program is heavily, again, focusing on the medical needs, but you can make very good income and still qualify for the program. So a family of four, $280,400. So that's a good amount of income that you can still make and still qualify for the program in terms of income guidelines. Okay. Oh, there it is. So the application process, you can go to rcapsolutions.org/HMLP. Applications are reviewed on first come, first served basis to determine both income eligibility and eligibility requirements. So once we get the application, we'll review the whole application. If there's anything missing, we'll contact the applicants. We'll review the application. For example, they can email me the application, mail it in, and so on and so forth. They can contact me by email or call me, and I'll happily go over the application, and I'll work with them from A to Z to help them get a fully application that can be processed. So items required as part of the application, obviously it will be verification of household size and gross income, the professional's certification for proposed modification. There is a professional form, part of the application. That is to be completed by the medical provider. That way we get a proof of diagnosis, what the disability is, what type of needs might come into play. So that one there is completed by the medical professional. So we need verification that the state income taxes are paid and the real estate, the property taxes are paid. So we just need proof of that. And a copy of the property deed would be required. I mean, we can pull that also if the homeowner or the applicant doesn't have access or knows how to provide it. We can pull that also. But that is part of the application, some of the information that is needed. And like I said, the application process, it can take, depends on if we have a full application, all the documents needed. There is a checklist on the application that helps the applicant to know what they've provided, what they still need, and so on. So the process is not a bad process, but there is some homework to be done in terms of providing a full application. Yes?
If someone provides a full application, how long is it typical for the loan to come through?
Well, depends on the project, but the contractor quote, that's also part of the application. Typically, the contractor is usually the hardest information, part of the application to get, because you have to find a contractor, hire him, get a quote, have them give you the information, complete their part of it. So if we get the application and the bid form, the contractor quote, and everything I have is ready to submit, I've done application as less than a couple weeks, even sooner. It depends on how complete I get. Yeah. So the contractor, again, that's typically around this time sometimes it's so busy it's hard to get a quote for make an appointment. So, but in the meantime though, the best thing is to complete all the other parts of the application. So once we get everything else checked off and we receive everything, then all we're waiting is on the contractor quote. So it's a little of a how should I say, homework, legwork, but for the application part of the homeowner or the applicant, it's not that bad. But again, if some homeowners, they already have contractors, they already done their homework, they prepared. So it all depends, but we like to get these applications as soon as possible because there's a need there. We want to help the family as quickly as possible. So we like to get them done as soon as possible. And so the type of modifications, as you can see here, some examples, the bathroom modifications, kitchen, stair lifts, so once the job is complete, these are actual jobs, so they look very good, and, you know, that's what the aim of the program is, to make sure that you get everything as needed. Ooh. Sure. There we go. It's hiding on me. As you can see, there's ramps, sensory therapy spaces, accessory dwellings, generators, decks, walkways, driveways. Again, depending on the medical need, depending on the disability, you know, all these can come into play. And so, question and answer session. Any more questions?
How does this program differ from the Easter Seals loan program? I think the Easter Seals loan program, they have to, if it's over $500, they have to actually take out a loan and make payments.
Honestly, I am not too familiar with the Easter Seals program. Again, the best thing is to look up,
Yeah.
look over it, but I'm not familiar. I don't want to give the wrong information on their program. But our program, again, it's a great program to help families with disabilities. There's no added burden, monthly expense, you know, in the near future or even long term. We try to focus on helping the families be comfortable and safe and stay in their own home, especially, you know, if they have medical issues. Obviously that requires substantial assistance. You know, these modifications help everyone in the family. You know, if you have an elderly loved one, you know, if maybe they need more independence, but they are, you know, they need their own independence in the home. You can finish the basement for them. That could be a project. You could add a bathroom. You can do an addition. It happens. There's projects. It depends on the project. That's why everyone's situation is so much different. You know, when I receive questions or I get contacts, everyone's situation is unique, so we tailor it to that particular situation, and then we go from there. So it's a great program, and you know, the state, it's very helpful. You know, $50,000, no monthly payments, 0% interest. You know, the state comes through. It's very helpful.
Actually, I can think of one difference. I know the Easter Seals program is for disabled individuals who are low income.
Yeah.
Whereas this is quite generous.
Right. Yeah, there's a program out there that, again, I don't want to speak on their behalf, but our income guidelines are pretty generous,
Yeah.
as you can see. So, again, to get the full application is very important. Once we get the scope of the work, what's needed, we review the medical needs. The medical needs, I mean, if you have mobility issues and you need a stair lift, you might need a handicapped accessible bathroom to convert it to a handicapped accessible bathroom, the walk-in showers. So there's so many potential modifications depending on what the needs of the beneficiary they are.
A lot of older homeowners have either one bath on the second floor or 1.5 baths.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
The half bath is on the first floor
Yeah.
and can be converted sometimes.
Yeah, and it's happened where you can convert it to a full handicap bathroom downstairs. Say they don't want to go upstairs anymore, and maybe they need a bedroom on the first floor again now, and convert the other half bath into a full handicapped accessible bathroom. So there's so many combinations, potentials. Again, that's why when we get the application, we see what all the information is and what the needs request is, and then we'll review it, and we'll get all the information that's required, needed, and then we'll submit it for approval.
You say that you also finance additions?
Well, yes, recently, for example, we did a bedroom addition where, you know, it made sense because for the need of the beneficiary. So it's a project that's...
If they need a bedroom on the first floor
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
bathroom or
Yeah,
something like that?
yeah. Again, it all depends on the situation of the medical needs of the beneficiary. So at times it makes sense to convert a room to a bedroom or add an addition. But again, the costs, you gotta think about that. Sometimes, it's up to 50,000, which is a good amount.
Yeah,
So you have to keep it within
yeah.
the income guidelines. If the project does go over the 50,000, for example, say it's 60,000, the 10,000 that's over the 50, the homeowner is responsible for it.
Yeah.
You can still get approved,
Yeah.
for example, but the first 10,000 have to be out of pocket. Once we receive proof that the homeowner has paid that portion, that's when we kick in the rest of the 50,000.
That makes sense.
And we do it step by step, we will pay them so much for materials. For example, for materials, it's 1/3 of the total project. That's upfront for materials. And then we set up a payment schedule accordingly. The final payment is 10% of the total cost of the project. After you do a final inspection, if there's a final city inspection needed, if there was a permit that was required. So there's a scope of requirements that have to be done, because when you're doing a project for your home, you want to make sure the town is going to sign off and they approve the project to get started if a permit is required. And the permit, that's in the bid. That's the contractors, they price that into their quote. It's going to cost this much for a permit, for example. And so the contractor goes and gets the permit, applies, and does all that legwork for the homeowner. So all that is in play in terms of the application. And there's some legwork, but at the end of the day, it's a great cause where the family is very, helpful for the family once the project is done. It's great feedback we hear. It's life-changing circumstances. It's really beneficial. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I have my mother-in-law, so we're planning to, she can move with us.
Yeah.
We have plans to do modification
Okay.
as well. And that's great. I would love to have so much information
Yeah.
from you guys
Yeah.
because I know
Yeah.
different cases.
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah. If she's gonna be living with you, that can come into play where, you see what she needs, what her situation is, and then we can discuss it further, on the side, further. But, yeah.
And
we
my
can-
mom on the side, she have her own home and she's getting blind on her eyes. She's getting a problem to go on the stairs
Yeah.
and move on things in her kitchen. So that would be really a good project also to let
Okay.
her know it's a good programs.
Yes,
help
yeah.
elderlies.
Yeah, and that's what the program is designed for, to help as many families as possible to, with the home. Anything else?
I guess that's my cue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Usher. I see what you were saying about the mouse disappearing.
It's there, it's just when you move it fast,
There we go.
yeah.
Okay. So, homeownership support and foreclosure prevention, this is actually one of our clients that we've worked with, one of our wonderful success stories. So, just some of the services that we have: financial capabilities, training, and credit counseling. So our financial capabilities is a workshop. It generally runs about 2 hours, and we go over, the basics of credit, how to build credit, what kinds of things damage your credit, along with budgeting tips. We help people create a sustainable budget so that they are able to control their finances a little bit better. And then we also offer credit counseling with one of our certified housing counselors, where we can do a soft pull on your credit, take a look at that, make some recommendations on how to improve your circumstances, because everyone checks credit nowadays. Our first-time home buyers classes and counseling, so we are a HUD and CHAPA approved housing counseling agency. So we do a hybrid workshop, which is 2 in-person classes and 1 virtual class. We invite other professionals from our community, like realtors and lenders, home inspectors, insurance agents, all kinds of professionals, to come out and talk to people who are interested in buying a home. And then we also offer counseling in addition to that, which is personalized. Again, the clients have the option of meeting with a certified housing counselor to review their personal circumstances, review down payment assistance options, different mortgage types, anything they need to become a successful homeowner. We also do a post-purchase education, which currently is a fully remote, we do it over Zoom workshop. That one is 2 classes, 3 hours for each class, and we just review successful homeownership tips. We review foreclosure, how to prevent it, how to protect your investment, protecting your home that everyone has worked so hard to get. And then we also offer foreclosure prevention counseling, where we'll work with clients to try to figure out what caused them to get behind on their mortgage and how to clear up those arrears and stay in their home. In the event that that isn't possible, we can also help with transitioning options into rental housing, affordable housing, market rate, stuff like that. Down here below, we do have a link to our events calendar. We do have some events scheduled for early next year, like January, February. So if you're at risk of foreclosure or struggling to pay your mortgage, like I said, we do provide individual foreclosure prevention counseling. We do offer that over the phone, over Zoom, or clients are welcome to make an appointment to come see us in person. We can help advocate on your behalf, help you communicate with your loan servicer to see, what's going on, what kind of options you have, loss mitigation. And then we can also refer you to mortgage assistance programs. Those are constantly changing. The one that is currently available is the Massachusetts Homeowners Assistance Fund. That was created as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The program did used to not have a limit, but now they have put a limit of $50,000 of financial assistance. It is important to note that this money goes directly to the servicer. Clients don't receive a check for their arrears. Homeowners that have missed at least 3 mortgage payments are eligible due to a COVID issue, but we encourage everyone to apply. They can also help with, a couple of other things, which I think are on the next slide. So overdue payments, property taxes, insurance, condo fees, or homeowners association fees. Under certain circumstances, those things are eligible, and you do not have to pay the money back. And you can apply down here. There are numerous agencies across the state that administer this program. RCAP is not one of them, but we do refer people to the program for assistance. Yes?
So, is this money considered income, and you have to pay income tax on it?
I don't believe so, but I will get back to you on a concrete answer because we don't administer the program. I don't know all of the inner workings. We refer them out to agencies that administer the program.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other questions on the HAF program or the homeownership support as I lose my shoe?
That's a great program. We had, I believe I have a Shrewsbury resident who took advantage of it.
Yeah, it helps so many people, especially because the changes in the assistance. You used to be able to get financial assistance through like the IRMA program, which is similar to RAFT, but they stopped allowing homeowners to apply for that. So HAF has been a great replacement for it, especially in its early stages where it didn't really have a limit. People were getting tens of thousands of dollars in order to stay in their homes, which is amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people who lost their jobs or who were laid off or temporary even kind of thing.
Yeah. Because there's it's difficult to catch up once you're already behind, but it's just as difficult to find alternate living situations. So it's great that this is available to clear up those arrears and keep people housed. And our staff is also available to work with homeowners, their partners, whomever lives in their house, to kind of create a sustainable spending plan so that these kinds of things don't happen in the future. Make a plan to have emergency savings so if another crisis does hit, they have a little bit of cushion.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to talk a little bit about our financial assistance for renters, which is the RAFT program. A lot of people know about this program, have utilized this program. It's helped so many people. So the RAFT program provides currently up to $10,000 of financial support. Again, it doesn't go directly to the tenant. It goes to the landlord, to the property manager, whoever kind of runs the unit. And I do tell people, if you don't qualify for RAFT today, they are constantly making changes to the program requirements, the guidelines, what's accepted. So, maybe you didn't qualify last year, but you do qualify this year. I always recommend, apply, see what your options are. So just some of the eligible housing crises include a risk of eviction, which does mean you have to have a notice to quit. It could be, a written statement from your landlord. Utility shut off, so to get your utilities paid, you do have to have a shut off notice. If you're doubled up or kind of living in a place that's not meant to be lived in, that is an eligible housing crisis, and you may be eligible for moving costs or startup costs like first, last, and security to help you get into a new home. Couch surfing, sleeping in cars, like I mentioned, a place you're not supposed to be living. There are income guidelines, so it must be below 50% AMI. It is a little bit higher for victims of domestic violence.
So what is the area median income here?
It is different for every town.
So,
But if any clients are interested, they can absolutely give us a call, and we can, look up where they live and what that exact income level is, because it's also different for different household sizes. So one person versus 3 person.
I think you can look it up. There's a tool online on the website,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
On the DHCD website, there
Yeah.
is a tool that has, you can enter, I believe it's your zip code, and it'll let you know exactly what those guidelines are.
Is that 50% of the AMI for a single person?
So it changes based on the
I know the household size, but so that 50% is not based on one person though? It's based on a family of 4, or what is it based on?
So it's 50%. So if it's a family of 1, it's 50% for what the AMI is for one person. If
For
it's
one person.
if it's 2 people, it's 50% of the AMI for 2 people. So it's
Okay, I
different
see.
for the different categories.
Okay.
So what kind of things can it be used for? So like I previously mentioned, it's $10,000. It is on a rolling basis. So it's not $10,000 in a lifetime. It's $10,000 per 12-month period. Rental arrears. So if somebody has fallen behind on their rent and is at risk of eviction. In limited situations, some clients are eligible for a short-term rental stipend, so maybe like a month's rent. Security deposits. One important note I'd like to add when we talk about security deposits is broker fees, unfortunately, are not paid. So broker fees are separate from security deposits. Startup costs, so first, last, security, that kind of stuff. And then for voucher holders, they also are eligible pending their eligible housing crisis and their income levels. And then first and last month's rent, which are usually included in the startup costs. Yes.
So, in my town, I know a woman who the rent was going skyrocket. A lot of places are raising the rent.
Yes.
So she would not be able to afford to maintain that apartment.
Mhm.
It was going from like $1,200 a month to $1,700.
Very common, unfortunately.
In that case, would you help keep her housed? But it's not a sustainable thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would recommend in that situation is if the client receives a notice to quit from the landlord for non-payment of rent, she would be eligible to apply for those rental arrears. But our HCEC does offer housing search assistance where our staff will meet with a client, determine what their needs are, their household size, their budget, the area of interest, if they need anything specific like, a first floor apartment, something with no stairs, something near the bus routes or anything like that. Our staff can help kind of navigate, help contact landlords for market rate units, help identify subsidized affordable housing options to get someone into a unit that is affordable, because that is unfortunately something super common that we see a lot of, clients that were paying a couple of $100s for the last 25 years and now their rent is $1,000 a month and they don't have that kind of income due to, whatever their circumstances may be.
Unfortunately, there's a shortage of affordable apartments.
Absolutely.
So,
There is, And, you know, we recommend that as soon as someone knows that they might not be able to afford it, get on as many lists as possible. You know, and our counselors can absolutely help find some that are, you know, for elderly, that are, you know, just for anyone, and help them figure out that application process, what kind of documents they'll need, how to fill out the application, assistance on filling out the actual application if they need it. And then when they're ready to move, our counselors will absolutely also help them apply for the RAFT program to cover those moving costs, because as the rents rise, that first, last, and security really adds up. So this is how to apply for financial assistance. You can go directly to our website, and we have some information about it, and as well the link to apply. I do also like to tell people that if you come to our website and you apply through our website, that does not mean that we will be processing your application, because there are other agencies in the area. So basically what happens is somebody applies, it gets sent to DHCD, and then they dole them out to the agencies in the area. Once the application has been received, they are processed, you know, first come, first serve. Everyone will be assigned like a specialist, and they'll reach out and say, hey, you know, we need some landlord documents. We need a proof of ownership of the home to know who we're paying. And they will let them know what additional documents they'll need in order to process the application. Once the payments are approved, the client's deemed eligible, the money is sent directly to the landlord or the property owner. Landlords can also apply on behalf of their tenant. Obviously, they need to have permission from the tenant to apply on their behalf, and they will still need to kind of participate in the process of receiving the assistance.
So in the case that I mentioned,
Mhm.
could you have helped her stay there by paying the landlord?
Only at this current moment in time, only if she has a notice to quit for non-payment of rent. But we also can provide referrals to like mediation centers where there's like a neutral third party that can help, you know, the landlord and the tenant both get what they want and, you know, preserve that tenancy if they didn't qualify. But they do currently at this moment need a notice to quit in order to receive funds for arrears. But it, like I said, it changes all of the time. So someone that doesn't qualify today may qualify next year, but that's why
I mean, in the case that I'm talking about, she would never be able to afford to stay there permanently without assistance.
Yeah, and
That could
unfortunately,
be a
it's not an ongoing assistance
No.
program.
But it could be a transition until she finds something potentially, could it? No?
What do you mean by that?
Well, if she had a notice to quit but didn't have anywhere to go and you couldn't find her anywhere to go, would you potentially pay the landlord to have her stay there until she can find a place to go?
So based on the current guidelines from DHCD, who administers the programs, there is a possibility in certain situations for like 1 month of a rental stipend at a time. But this time last year, that was a completely different story, and I know there was a lot of need throughout the pandemic. So it does, you know, change constantly. But my recommendation for that is if she does have a notice to quit for a non-payment, absolutely apply for the RAFT program to preserve that tenancy, and then they can reach out to us for support in locating new housing, getting her on some lists for affordable housing, which is always the best.
So only one time in a year, correct?
So it's on a rolling basis, but say someone applies in, you know, January and they only use $2,000, they can apply again. So it's only once they hit that limit that they can't apply until after the 12-month period. But they can apply, you know, if their rent's only $500, they get a notice to quit, and we pay, you know, 2 months rent, that's only $1,000. There is still additional monies that is available.
It's interesting because if they have the support, since they, you know, can find out an income coming, so you know, coming to support the payments, it's help them at least certain monthly, just say, look, I'm still looking and working on it. You guys choose at least 12 months, right?
Yeah, so it's the 12 months. But like I said, unfortunately, it's not like an ongoing assistance program. A lot of people do get confused by that, and they're like, well, you guys paid my rent last month, and it's like, yes, yeah, that was to help you out, but it's not a forever thing. It's not going to be paid currently with the current guidelines of the program, like every single month.
Who lost a job also? Who lost a job? Someone
Yeah.
can be eligible?
So,
Job.
losing their job is definitely a crisis, but they will have to have that notice to quit or that shut-off notice in order to access the program. If they were, couch hopping or something like that, lost their job, and they needed to get into a new place, that is also an eligible crisis, like not having a stable place to live.
Who got sick in the hospital, got sick and unable to work. So the point that it was because of COVID or something that saying can I able to continue as a independent worker.
Yeah, so doesn't matter if, they were sick with COVID, if they were sick with something else in the hospital, lost their job, it's that housing crisis. So, not having a stable place to live, having a notice to quit, living on the streets in a car, something like that, in a domestic violence situation, those would all be eligible reasons to get like startup costs. So like first, last, and security, of course, still under that $10,000 limit. So the importance of submitting a complete application, I can't stress that enough. It is super, super important to submit a complete application. If there are missing documents, it's going to take longer because the assigned specialist will have to reach out, make sure you get the documents. So submitting a complete application will ensure quicker processing, and our staff at RCAP can help a client submit the application. Generally, the way that works is someone will reach out to us and say, hey, I need to apply for the RAFT program, but I'm not good with technology. I don't have a computer. I can't do it on my phone. I don't have anyone to help me. We can do it over the phone. They can come in. We ask them to gather all the documents. We let them know, hey, you're going to need your proof of crisis. You're going to need a copy of your lease, things like that. And then we invite the clients to come into our office, or we do it over the phone, and we'll submit it with them to ensure that, all the questions are answered correctly, that all the documents they need at that time are submitted. If an application is incomplete, clients do have 14 days to submit the required documents from the day that the specialist first reaches out to them. So if something's missing at the time of submission, or they need additional documents from the landlord or from the client, they have 14 days to get it in, and then it will be soft closed. So what kind of documents? Like I mentioned, an ID for the head of household, a proof of current housing, so a lease, a proof of the housing crisis, and proof of income.
Or if they're at will, proof of like check, bank account, whatever.
So just a tenant at will, there are like agreements for that. That would suffice for that. And also housing crisis may also include, like that I said, that notice to quit, or if it was for utilities, that shut-off notice. Landlords will be asked to provide a proof of ownership, so like I said, so we know who we're paying and that we're paying the correct owner. A signed W-9, a proof of compliance with lead laws, and a signed contract accepting the funds. Does anyone have any other questions that I can answer? No? So a little bit more information. We do have several apartment complexes for seniors, families, and individuals with disabilities or mobility impairments. There is, currently a waiting list, just like for all of the housing options across the state. But this up here is the link to our website, which has brochures for each of the properties, information on it, as well as the application itself and who to send it to upon completion. As apartments come available, applicants will be selected from their waiting list. And then we also have some private well resources. The link for that section of the website is up there. Well assessment requests form and loans for private well repairs. And then just like was on a previous slide, our future workshops, so all of the workshops from the Housing Consumer Education Center, the small business program, and the private well resources can all be found on our events calendar, and it'll give a little description of each workshop, the time, the cost, and whatever you need to know about the upcoming workshops. And this is all of our contact information. I know it's a ton, But if you call any one of these phone numbers or emails, we will absolutely direct you to the correct person or the department. There's Osher's contact information up here, directly for the RAFT program, the homeownership support and foreclosure prevention. We can also answer any questions about any of our workshops at that link. And down at the bottom is our affordable housing properties. Yes.
If someone wants to make an affordable housing application for your properties,
Mhm.
is there one common application for the 11 properties?
No, they all have their own applications because some of them are family, some of them are senior. So there is an application for each property, and those can all be found on our websites along with the brochures that kind of give an overview of the properties. Come on, there it is. There we go. That is the final question and answer slide. If you guys have any other questions for me. All right. Well, thank you so much for having us out. We would be happy to come back whenever you need us.
Thank you.